My name is Mary McCall. So I chose to write about this topic as it relates to communication and the principles of communication because of its role in political polarization. It's an urgent issue and has affected political landscapes in the United States. I'm talking about the rise of QAnon during the COVID-19 pandemic. Its spread through social media and online communities has created a real world consequence, tearing apart families, eroding trust in public institutions, and fueling political division. This is a phenomenon that isn't just theoretical, it's happening right now, and it's significant because it requires us to understand how misinformation spreads and how it impacts individuals and communities. So the main theories and concepts that I use, the first one is communication privacy management theory. It explains how people create boundaries around their private and public information. And in the context of QAnon, I found that these boundaries get distorted as people become more involved with the movement. They begin to close themselves off from the outside information. The next one that I talked about was organizational information theory. This looks at how information is structured and flows within organizations. In QAnon, the flow of information is hierarchical. Q is an authority figure, the source of truth. The followers, in turn, consume the information that Q provides without questioning it. It is similar to how employees receive directives from higher ups in an organization. So an example is if you think of a family or small group that gets involved in QAnon, there's a clear structure. The leader, whether that's Q or a more vocal family member who is a believer, passes on the knowledge, and the followers are recipients. For example, in one family, the grandfather was the primary source, and the rest of the family members, including the uncles and children, would accept these ideas without much question. So the third and final theory that I used was the social identity theory. It is another key concept that helps explain how people become deeply attached to extremist beliefs. According to this theory, individuals define themselves by groups they belong to and derive a sense of identity from them. And in the case of QAnon, followers form a strong in-group identity, viewing themselves as part of a select group with special knowledge that outsiders don't have. An example of this would be QAnon followers often describe themselves as awake or part of a truth-seeking community, positioning themselves against an outgroup of people they label as sheeple or brainwashed. Another theory that I used is groupthink. This really applies because a group prioritizes consensus and conformity over critical thinking. In the QAnon community, there is often pressure to conform, which discourages dissenting opinions, and this creates an environment where followers might rationalize or ignore contradictory evidence to maintain group cohesion. The fifth and final theory that I want to talk about that I used was the spiral of silence theory. It explains how individuals who hold minority views may stay silent out of fear of social rejection. Within the QAnon community, those who dissent are often silenced either by fear or rejection or by the overwhelming dominance of the group's narrative. In conclusion, by combining these communication and psychological theories, I was able to understand how QAnon functions as more than just a conspiracy theory. It operates like a social movement, deeply embedded in the personal, familial, and social dynamics of its followers. The theories, especially communication privacy management, social identity theory, and groupthink, help explain how information is manipulated, how groups form, and how individuals become entrenched in their beliefs. Through these lenses, it becomes clear how dangerous and divisive QAnon can be and why it's essential to address these issues with a focus on improving media literacy and creating critical dialogue. Thank you.